Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how widespread is the use of fake job adverts being put on the job boards by scam organisations to say, well, look, we've got an advert out for, I don't know, a programmer, a coder. We've advertised for 6 weeks, which I think is the minimum time. We haven't got any satisfactory responses, or we got no responses, or whatever. So we've got no choice. We'll have to bring in somebody from a third world country who's got all the skills that a first world country needs. So then they get a skilled immigrant permit visa. Now, the way it's meant to work, and this is the case in most Western countries, and it's enforced to different degrees or varying degrees depending on the country, but the way it's meant to work, if you genuinely can't find the skills that you need, coding or whatever it might be, then you're allowed to bring in a skilled immigrant. Now, the system has some basic failings because, I can say, well, I want a coder who's got the latest in coding skills, but I don't want to pay him more than $50 a year or something like that. So I'm not getting it out. Nobody wants to take the job. Skill shortage. I got to go to Bangladesh to get a skilled immigrant here. I've got to go to the most dirt poor basket case country in the world to get the skills that I need. Now, this of course is nonsense. If there's a shortage of skills in a first world country, you don't go to a third world country to find it. You go to another first world country. But it's incredible how only third world countries, only brown people and black people seem to magically have the required skills. So it's obviously a scam just from that perspective. But some of the inbuilt failings are is an example where they want to have say is a stonemason is needed out in some rural township. Now it's in the middle of nowhere. It's 5-6 hours drive from the nearest city. The quality of life, I suppose, wouldn't be too bad. A lot of open air, a lot of spaces, but there's nothing there. It's a small town. But they only want to pay shit money. So now if they want a stonemason, they can easily get one. They just have to make a better offer. They have to offer more money on a salary or better conditions, or say, look, you can stay for accommodation for free, or we'll pay for your teenage kids' high school. You can get people if you want them, but no, they want to pay the bottom salary, the absolute rock bottom salary, and income and benefits, so the absolute minimum. And then you can't say, well, I can't find anybody, if you want to only pay the minimum. In a market economy, an economy driven by market forces, so okay, if I can get somebody for the bottom draw salary and benefits, I'll just have to do better. I'll just have to offer more, and I'll have to improve the offer until I can get people applying for the job who want it and want to stay. Now that's all it is, and that is market forces. But the better money for those jobs is in the cities or in the bigger areas, more populated areas, and so stonemasons have gone there as you would. You get better money, and there's better opportunities for your kids. Your wife's got more shopping, and it's got the whole package. And if you particularly want to be out in the middle of nowhere, and you want to be say live an alternative hippie lifestyle, something like that, or live on a commune, then maybe that might work. But they can't. They're not getting people out there, and they've just got to improve So this is where it fails. Now, this company that wants a stonemason, they can argue that we can't find anybody. We've got to go to a third world country or some shitbox dirt poor country to find somebody. So they're not being given a permit to bring in a skilled immigrant. They're being given a permit to bypass market forces. And this is why it's the wrong thing to do, and why it is a complete failure as a way of managing an economy and running an economy and driving economy. They want the stonemason there. They've got to pay them or put something together that works. Now, the other obviously say, well, we'll close our stonemason business. Well, that's too an option, but you still have to meet the market. If you've got no customers out there, or you can only get customers by having an artificially cheap workforce, then still you're bypassing market forces. So that's one of the inherent failures. But what we're looking at the moment is an industrial scale scamming, where there are these fake recruitment agencies. They're not fucking recruitment agencies. They're backdoor immigration agencies. And their job is to deliver an outcome to their clients. So their client comes and say, all right, I want to get a programmer or a coder from Bangladesh, or I want to get this or that. I want cheap labor from a third world country. Fix it for me. So then these people know the drill. There's this scam recruitment agency. They put out the adverts and they make sure no one applies, or if somebody does apply, or any people do apply, that all the resumes are thrown in the garbage bin, and so they'll do the minimum time. Then they'll make the applications for the skilled immigration visa, and of course they've already got somebody lined up. It's a processing machine, and it's an industrial scale here. They've already got somebody lined up, particularly with coders and programmers. They've already got lined up the other side, and then they've got their own labour hire firm operating in India and around the subcontinent. Then the person's brought in as ostensibly as a skilled migrant, and they're put up 20 to a room and all this sort of thing. So but again, the issue here is that there was no genuine attempt to hire someone locally in the Western country, Australia in this case. But there was no genuine attempt. It's a deceitful process from beginning to end, and its sole purpose is to deliver brown and black third world folks into the first world country and as cheap labor, but again bypassing market forces. Now, I don't think Western governments give a shit. In fact, I think they're quietly and outside of public view, I think they're fully supporting this. I think they want this sort of thing to go on, whether it's grunt labor for building sites or whatever it is, coders and that sort of thing, cleaners and so on. But again, they're bypassing market forces, and this creates an ever bigger slice of the economy that's living on artificial means, and is now completely reliant on bringing in brown and black peasants from the third world to do this sort of work. And it's a Ponzi scheme, because the more you bring in, the more you need, and so on. So it ends up not adding any skills or any value to the economy at all. It just means you bypass market forces to create a false economy that couldn't stand on its own 2 feet if it needed to. So, but this is I've noticed more and more of it as we're coming out of the COVID lockdowns, and there's more and more of this scamming going on, and there's laws against it and so on, but the Western governments just aren't enforcing laws on the books. It's like the same with Antifa and Black Lives Matter running riot. There are plenty of laws that could have been used to stop them, but the Western governments, under globalist control, which they all are, just want to ignore it because this is something that the globalists want, and the globalists are quite happy to tolerate, if not encourage. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.